So I'm just going to give you a talk on, like a case-based talk, essentially, on differential diagnostic problems in urinary bladder pathology. We see a large amount of bladder material at the Cleveland Clinic. I know they can be challenging. One of the reasons I went into GU pathology is because I found bladder so challenging and I wanted to get better at it. It doesn't always necessarily get better even if you do a GU pathology fellowship, but I'm going to show you some cases that I think illustrate some general principles that are important to keep in mind when you're evaluating bladder biopsies. So the first case is a case I had recently, and just at low power, you can see that this bladder biopsy, we have a little bit of thinned out mucosa or epithelium stretched over the surface of the biopsy here, but just at low power, this doesn't look like our typical bladder biopsy, even malignant bladder biopsy. The tumor itself, or the biopsy itself, is packed with tumor cells. We don't usually see that, even in our invasive high-grade urothelial carcinomas. And you can see at high power that it's packed back-to-back with cells that have abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm. They've got relatively monomorphic nuclei, and maybe sort of a vague nested architecture in here, and possibly some prominent nucleoli that you can detect. And so a differential diagnosis comes to mind, the chief entity being invasive high-grade urothelial carcinoma. I mean, when we've got a malignant bladder biopsy, that's the most common thing we're going to see. So that could be what's going on in here. Usually those are a little more pleomorphic when they're this extensively high-grade and invasive. Prostatic adenocarcinoma should also come to mind. So it's not uncommon for us to see prostate cancer presenting as a bladder mass. And sometimes it's in a patient that doesn't necessarily have an established history of prostate cancer. And sometimes, as you know, you may not be given the history on the requisition form. I know that's a problem that happens to all pathologists. Other things that come to mind, just given the monomorphic nature of this biopsy and the tumor cells in here, would be a really extreme version of a nephrogenic adenoma. So we do sometimes see nephrogenic adenomas that are compacted together like this. This would be pretty extreme, but it does have an overall tubular architecture here, or vaguely nested, and it does have monomorphic nuclei. Less common entities I might consider would be a paraganglioma. So we do sometimes see these in the bladder, not commonly, but it is something to keep in mind. And it does have, as I mentioned, kind of a nested architecture that might remind you of a Zellballen appearance. So it's always something to keep in mind. One of the things I thought about when I saw this, my differential is broad when I saw this, was malakoplakia. Just given how packed this biopsy is, like I said, with these polygonal cells with kind of foamy cytoplasm, they're relatively monomorphic. So that's something we're going to want to exclude. And then less commonly, although we just had one this week in the urethra, would be a melanoma. So again, some monomorphic tumor cells, something I might consider.